Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Radio Geonosis, where we talk about Star Wars from a certain point of view. I'm Angie.
And I'm Emma.
And I'm Aaron. What's up? Sorry.
Hey. Hopefully we have a better sound this week.
Oh, yeah, I apologize for
I was very staticky.
Yeah, it was only you, Angie, so I don't know. But yeah, no, we should.
It's because I'm outer limits.
We should, though. We should have a cleaner show this week.
All right. Well, this week we're going to be talking about Holocrons. Are you guys ready for that?
I'm ready.
Yeah, and I really didn't. Not that I didn't know much, but I didn't know much. You know what I mean? I didn't know. I knew,
didn't either.
Yeah, I knew, but I didn't know. Yeah.
Exactly. Me too. I was the same way.
Yeah.
I was the same exact way. But before we do that, we're going to do some hot happenings this week. Lucasfilms is not developing Star Wars movies for Disney and streaming. They're not developing movies. So they're going to do the shows.
But no movies.
No original movies. Not like Netflix.
Yeah.
They should.
Wish they should.
They're losing money right
yes,
there.
Yes, they are.
All right.
Yes, they
91 days, or actually 90 days to Celebration in Chicago.
Ooh.
Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. And then they had posted this. 343, I had to change that because we didn't do the show yesterday. 343 days to episode 9.
The countdown begins.
The countdown is beginning. If I have to see another, they're making an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, I'm going to scream.
God.
I see that on Facebook all the time. I'm like,
I see that.
it's just not happening.
You don't think so?
No.
Maybe one day, but we'll
Maybe.
see. When they get more desperate for
Maybe.
money.
Desperate for money, Disney's that's never going to happen.
True.
And you know why that's never going to happen?
Why is that?
Because Disney has hiked the prices up to 25% to get into the park because the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is going to open up
My
this
season
summer.
pass expires in February.
Oh.
I do have a season pass.
Aaron, you're going to have to redo it, but it's I heard that the lowest one, which is the California one,
With a lot of blackout dates.
yeah, you only get 100 days. I'm like, geez, only 100 days.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I got a season pass. I only went to Disneyland like 4 times.
See,
past year.
Only 100 days.
Yeah.
I hope I can still get in for free because of my dad.
Dad works there?
He used to. My dad used to be a fire chief there.
Oh, okay.
But he retired, so I don't know if he still gets the benefits.
Let's hope so, because if he does, then
If he does, I get to take
Aaron's like, I'm going with you, man.
Yeah,
I'm going
what
with
pass?
And I can take 4 people for free and free food.
Yeah, what pass?
Yes, exactly.
There we go.
See this badge?
Man, I you know what? I went for the Star Wars. They had like the Star Wars for fans and stuff like that, the fandom thing, and I was able to be in there. I think I got maybe on 3 rides.
Okay.
Yeah, that was all I could do.
Yeah.
There was so many people. The first time I went 2 days, and the first time I went about 2:00, and when we got in there, I was almost dumbfounded. There was so many people in there.
Yeah.
And it was during the week. I'm like looking at myself. This was in May. Why aren't these kids in school?
Yeah.
Not all these kids can be homeschooled.
All of them
That's
can. When it
true.
comes to Star Wars, yes, you can.
But it was there were so many people in there.
Yeah. I
And
can imagine.
Speaking of Star Wars, before we get to the Holocrons, I am going to be at the hockey game this weekend, the Kings hockey game, because they're doing the Star Wars night. It's going to be Saturday. I saw that you posted that on Facebook.
Yeah. I did post it. You're everywhere though.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah.
I tried.
Angie's everywhere.
I was at home today watching Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Mummy because it's now on Netflix. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
I can pretty much recite both of those movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Word for word, yes.
I'm not there yet.
Oh, man.
I can with most of the Disney cartoon ones, like Lion King.
Oh yeah, Lion King
Nightmare
for sure.
Before Christmas, I could definitely do that one.
Lion King, I can't for sure.
But you never get tired of seeing it.
No, not at all.
Which
no.
is weird.
Nuh-uh.
Like some movies, I'm like, oh god, I can only watch it once.
There's
every 5
something
years.
in Lucas and Disney films. They sprinkle some. They sprinkle some kind
Addiction.
of illegal substance. Something illegal is sprinkled in
Yeah,
because
you keep watching it and watching it and watching
They're
it.
timeless.
Yeah. My kids used to watch Little Mermaid all the time.
That
all
was
the
great for
time.
me.
Is your son gonna be okay with you airing out that dirty laundry right now?
I don't know. I hope he's not listening. My
just
son
kidding.
Bob loved that movie. I don't know why. He loved The Little Mermaid.
There you go, Bob.
Yeah,
I
Bob
used to
did.
love Toy Story.
Oh,
Like
Toy Story's.
that.
Yeah, that's my. Yeah,
That was my 5 times 6 day movie
Oh
right
my
there.
God.
Yeah, yeah. Toy Story was it for me. That
Toy
was
Story
it.
was definitely it.
I don't know if I had a movie that I watched when I was a kid that I liked so much, and because we didn't have, we didn't even have VHS when I was growing up. We didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
For me, it's now that I watch them all the time, like The Mummy,
Oh, yeah.
like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
I like the first one. The second one is all right. I do like the Crusade, the Last Crusade.
Yeah, the Last Crusade.
And then the fourth one, it was all right.
Yeah.
It's like Fast and Furious. You like
Yeah, the fourth one
one,
was like,
2, 5, and 7. Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it skips. It skips over. You skip over some.
Skip
yeah.
over a few of them.
Yeah.
Some of the Fast and Furious were, but the first one was the best.
And that's on Netflix.
And I
too.
do love Tokyo
It was.
Drift.
that was cool.
I like Tokyo. I like Tokyo Drift.
It's all right.
Do you know what they filmed in Victorville?
I heard.
Really?
I heard that. Yeah.
Yes, and
Never
I
knew
actually
that.
served the guys. I didn't even know it was them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Did
they
you?
came into the restaurant and I served them.
What?
I
That's
carded
crazy.
them. All their licenses said Alabama. I'm like,
Really?
what are they doing here? I had no idea. My friend's like, do you know who that is? I'm like, no.
They want a Red Robin's burger though.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did, man. They can't. Who knows why?
Yeah. Who knows? At this point, who knows why?
Aaron works there with me, so he knows. Who knows why? Okay, so one of the things that were said about holocrons, this came from Jocasta Nunn. The holocron contains the most closely guarded secrets of the Jedi Order.
True.
It is true. So, Aaron, tell me what you found out about holocrons.
Well, let me read it. I'll do you one better and read to you what I found out about holocrons.
Yeah.
Holocrons are ancient repositories. I don't know how to pronounce that word.
I know some of
knowledge.
that stuff you're like,
Yeah, I don't know. Star Wars, they use like really, really big words to explain
They
some of
do.
this shit sometimes.
that doesn't exist.
But like you
really.
said, knowledge and wisdom
know.
that can only be accessed by those skilled in the Force. Jedi use them to record and preserve their teachings, craftings, and record for future generations to seek and understand like knowledge and wisdom and stuff like
Right,
that. So
right.
basically, I saw Aquaman this past a couple days ago, and they had like basically a holocron in there for
I saw that in preview.
for
and I
King
was like,
Arthur and later on in the future. So in the past, they recorded it for the next true king of like the sea. So like it's along the same things from like
That
reading
wasn't
this.
Charlie?
No. No, but that's
He's
kind of
chicken of the sea, right?
Yeah. But
Oh,
that's
no.
that actually reading that kind of reminded me of what a holocron
Wow.
is.
Wow,
know?
it's kind of strange how comics and Star Wars and a lot of that stuff kind of go hand in hand, and they
Yeah.
kind of cross over and use. I'll use that. I'll use that.
Yeah,
or
I'll
use-
just call
yeah.
it something else.
Yeah,
so I just don't get
exactly.
trademarked. You know what I mean? So I just don't get sued or anything. But you kind of have to, because I mean, great minds think alike too.
Yeah.
That's a saying for a reason.
True.
So.
Well, Superman
You know.
was like that because you remember in Superman he had those icicles and he would
And-
put it in the
and those
machine
were
thing.
his
yeah.
holocrons.
Oh,
When
yeah.
his dad left him those
Yeah.
messages exactly, and at the Fortress of Solitude. So like they're just messages from then relayed for the future for them to like if they had a question like let me just pop in this crystal or whatever that case may be and then learn what they have
Don't
to
crystals
Yeah.
actually hold energy though? Don't they put those in USBs or certain hard drives and computers?
learn. And I think
They
that's
could.
why
I think they do
that's why
quartz, crystal, and diamond.
I think that's why they did that for Superman. There's a comic book illustrator Tim Ross, I believe his name is, and he
Not
said
Bob
that.
Ross.
No, not Bob Ross.
Happy holocron.
Not Bob Ross, but yeah, that was like he was saying how like that's why the Superman crystals because they held energy for that
Yeah.
long. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
You
what
know.
I remember reading some like book about like crystals retaining information like gigabytes does like on your computer like a hard drive.
Yeah.
I remember reading something about that a long time ago.
Could be true.
Yeah.
Or like
Could be
how
true.
some movies always have like the cube like of like the Allspark.
Yeah.
Or the one in Thor where Loki had the cube. It's always a cube too.
It's always a cube. Yeah. It's always cube shaped.
Or a
Yeah.
triangle.
Yeah.
If it's easy.
Well, I'm sure if you made it look like, if you made it look like a water bottle or something like that, it just wouldn't be that ominous.
Yeah. Even the Star Wars holocron is kind of cubish.
Yeah.
Cubed
Well,
kind
it's
of.
kind of like the
Yeah.
the Holocrux in Harry Potter. But
Oh
those
yeah.
are objects.
Yeah. Those are
Like
yeah.
the
Yeah.
Those
necklace.
were objects, but they held his soul.
Oh, was that-
Parts of
Yeah.
his soul.
That's true.
You know, they didn't hold information. But in Harry Potter, they had those little they had went to the Ministry of Magic, and there were like little balls or looked like something like glass. And they were breaking.
Oh, like the crystal ball
yes.
one? Oh, I remember that
they were
scene.
crystal balls.
Yeah, I remember that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, crystals. They diamond. Yeah, crystals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some form of crystal, diamond, even in the holocrons sort of thing. That's what they're talking about.
The kyber crystal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the holocrons were information storage datacrom devices used by both Jedi Order and Sith that contained ancient lessons of valuable information. In holographic form, Jedi holocrons were called Jedi datacroms. They appeared as a palm-sized glowing polyhedron, I can't even say that, polyhedrons of crystal-like material and hardware, and could be activated and used through the power of the Force. So I guess that's how you turned it on. There was no switch.
Yeah. So you had that. You had to be like
Force sensitive.
Yeah. You had to be force sensitive to even
think,
access it or anything.
I think the Jedi Council could only use them too. In the Jedi archives, I think only the Council could access the holocrons.
Well, Jocasta could. The lady,
I think he was, she was in charge of
she was in charge of the library.
Yeah, I think she could, but you had to be on the council to access them. I think 2 I know of were stolen at some point. One was by Count Dooku's younger childhood friend. That did not end well for him, and then someone else stole it too, but I can't remember his name. Can't remember.
It did not end well for him.
It did not end well.
Dooku got mad and got revenge many years later.
Now with the Jedi holocron, it's 12-sided and a 12-sided geometry. I'm not going to even try and say that word.
Geometrical?
No, Dodi cat.
I don't even know.
I don't even know. I'm like
That's long.
If any of our listeners know how to pronounce the
Yes,
3 words we didn't know how to
please.
pronounce, please let us know what it is.
Now, what about
in
the
the
Sith?
comments?
Oh,
What were the Sith
holocron?
holocrons like?
Well, they
I
had
don't
the
know.
kyber crystal, the synthetic fake crystal they would make, and only a Sith can open it. And I think the Sith had to destroy it right after they used it.
Oh, I wonder why that is.
It was toxic.
I don't think so. I think they wanted.
Was it like Mission Impossible where it explodes?
Or unless they wanted to, they just wanted to get rid of it.
They were being greedy.
Oh, okay.
They wanted to, like, with Darth Bane found Darth Revan's holocron, I believe, on. I want to say, what temple was that? Korriban. I think it was on that planet where he found his holocron. He destroyed it right after he learned everything, so no one else could learn it.
Oh,
so he can hold that power.
So with the Sith, it's greed. It's like I only want the information for myself.
Because
And
I want my power and his power.
Not surprising
to
at all.
power.
Though.
No, I don't imagine that there were much laying around.
No one's gonna learn it. Just step on it. Yeah.
Exactly. They all hit that stuff.
Yeah.
It's in a dark cave. I don't know if anyone's going to find it.
Now, it says that the holocrons were information storage devices that we know already that could fit in the palm of your hand. That was almost like an iPad.
Okay.
A form of an iPad. It was common for them to be shaped like evenly proportioned oh my gosh.
Polyhexagon?
Polyhexagon, like a 12-sided geometric shape. And it had, let's see, some of the transportation outer shell. Okay, some of the transparent outer shell that allowed the user to perceive their inner mechanisms. So they could see the inner mechanisms of it. And I think when you see them, because I've seen people have them, they do light up and you can see all the stuff inside.
Oh, really? I've never seen like even like a one in someone's hand before. Like I haven't seen anyone with one.
I've seen one before, but it was a really big one that this book comes in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They have it on Ultra Saber, and I believe they have it on KR. I think KR sells them. But when I was at the event in Long Beach, to see the children in the hospital, they were giving away one of those toys. I'm like, I want one.
Oh, what? Are you serious? Really?
Yeah, I'm sure you can find it on eBay.
Oh, man.
But I think it is on eBay.
But
I
was
was
like,
going to buy one recently.
Oh, shit.
I need to add one to my collection.
I need one too. I need a Sith one, and since I'm both, I need. It only makes sense to have.
Yeah,
both.
to have
Sith
both.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
And it'd be cool to take to events with you.
That's true, but they're pretty big though. Like it holds this book.
But no, the ones that I've
the
seen,
small
they
ones?
fit in the
Yeah.
palm of your
Oh,
hand.
okay.
I have actually an Instagram page where I follow the guy gives you the 3D print like the 3D printers. He gives you a blueprint to download on your computer that you can print it yourself, or you just buy one from him made.
I don't have a 3D printer.
My
so
brother
I
does.
Probably, oh, wow.
I could probably.
We were
ask my
actually
brother.
thinking about like putting our money to getting
You
one
should.
For a 3D
for a
printer?
3D
It's
printer.
worth
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
My brother has done so much cool stuff with it for Warhammer 40K
Wow.
and other games that he plays. Like you'll make your money back.
Yeah.
Easily.
I believe so. I think that's why it was like such a huge topic that like here, like it
Yeah.
was like a huge
A
topic.
worthwhile
Yeah,
investment.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And you'll get back super quick though.
Yeah, you will. Everybody will want you to make stuff.
Yeah, and we will.
Here, we give you this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to make me a holocron or two.
Holocrons for everybody.
Yes, we all need
Or
that.
I want to make the Dark Crystal. Remember that movie, The Dark Crystal, back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
With the Gelflings and all that. I want the Dark Crystal, but my brother has yet to make it for me. Like,
See
it's been a year.
that's a want on the
That's
on
a one on
the
the
bucket list.
The one.
Okay, so for the they said that they glow when activated, while known Jedi holocrons were cubes. The Sith were more like a pyramid shape, and they function similarly to the Jedi counterpart. Now, the reason why they do that, what I was thinking, I'm like, why do they function similarly? Because most Sith were Jedi at one point.
That's true.
So they all learned the same basic
The same
thing.
things. Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, that makes sense. Because the real Sith were not, they were from a planet. They were from, I'm not sure what planet it is.
Wasn't it Korriban? Or
It could be.
Korriban?
It could be. I have it in this book. Because when the Sith were exiled, they were just bad Jedi.
Yeah.
They were not Sith at first. And then they became Jedi because
I
they,
love this book.
Is that the book
Yes.
you let me borrow?
yes.
Oh, okay.
This book is cool.
Yeah, the book it's crazy.
Yeah, see, they were
It's really crazy.
they were sent to the planet. So the actual Sith were different. They were a peoples of
That's Valiant Korriban. Yeah, that's
Korriban.
what I want tattooed on
Okay,
me.
so Korriban was
me see
the
that.
planet
Or
where the
Korriban.
actual Korriban, where the actual Sith were from, and then they had like these antennae that came off their faces.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, at the bottom of the
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
It was almost like the Fu Manchu kind of thing.
Wasn't it red too? Weren't they red? Kind
Yes,
of like burgundy
yes,
looking.
Yes.
Like
Here
this
they
book.
go. Yeah.
So holocrons acted as a, they acted like they were informational storage base, data holders. They had vital sensitive knowledge and wisdom pertaining to the nature and the use of the Force, a mystical energy field that connected all living things, as we know. Data playback typically took over the centuries, hundreds. Jedi made hundreds of these holocrons, and we actually put them in a library on Coruscant.
Yep.
But
Greedy. Jedi.
yes, exactly. No, I think I don't think the Jedi would be like, wait a minute,
Just the look of.
wait.
Typical
I
Jedi
think-
taking everything.
I think
They
Jedi
say it's
they wanted to keep that information.
See?
At least the Sith destroyed all their information. So if anybody actually
why,
wanted
'cause
the
y'all take it.
truth, if they wanted the truth, they were not going to get it.
Yeah.
Because Aaron, what were they going to get?
What were they gonna
If
get?
the Sith destroyed their holocrons, right? They destroyed them. They kept that information. So the next person, what do they get?
Yeah.
They get wrong
Yeah, they
information.
get wrong information, yeah.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
guy is the other Sith isn't going to give him the right
Yeah.
information.
Or just put fake stuff in it. I would.
Exactly.
Yeah, just put
For the next
Well,
guy
if
to come
they
along.
if they destroy it, they don't have the correct information.
Yeah.
They're getting secondhand
they
information.
get secondhand. Yeah.
Maybe that's why they fell.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
The most valuable specimens were locked away in the restricted holocron vault. That made me think of Harry Potter. Because in Harry Potter, they had the restricted section.
Yeah, of the vault.
Yeah, in the library where they were in the restricted area. some of the books, but Vader took all of them. Vader and Palpy. Yeah, the Palpy took them all, man. The Palpy took them all.
That nickname is just sticking around.
I'm wondering if they just took, what they took once Coruscant fell. What exactly did they take?
I mean,
That's what I
And
would've
what
took for
information
sure.
would be important to them, important enough for them to take?
a lot of weapons plans, I think.
Probably the stormtrooper stuff too.
A lot of plans, a lot of blueprints, a lot of unfinished projects.
But
maybe.
if the Jedi's gone, they don't need to finish those projects.
Well, Sith, they're just evil people, just to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I
Yeah.
would have it
just
to
to
make
have
sure
it.
they don't
yeah,
ever
just,
have it.
you know what I mean? Just to make sure no one else ever gets it.
Yeah. Well, apparently somebody did. It says sometime after the end of the Clone Wars, Gracchus the Hutt obtained a number of Jedi holocrons that he kept on Nar Shaddaa.
But were they? And it could be a dumb question, but were they sought after that? Were there people who just they spent their whole time just looking for holocrons, or were holocrons treated as something that like the chances of you finding one is like so slim? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know what a Hutt would want with the holocron unless
true.
they had a Force user that could open it.
True.
So what he would want with it maybe was for leverage against Vader, something like that.
Yeah. Or
You know?
yeah, it could be used as leverage even against the Jedi too.
But there wasn't any. Remember, there was after the Clone Wars, there wasn't anybody left.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could think of is he could use it against Vader. Like, I've got this information, trade with me, these sort of things.
Yeah.
Because the Hutts
Or
were
sell it.
gangsters.
And
Or
I would
sell
not.
for a lot
I
of
would
money.
not want to trade anything with Vader though.
Because you may end up with.
Yeah.
He'll give you the money and just choke you out
Yeah,
after.
and just take
Pick
it
up the
back.
money.
Exactly.
Well, he
No.
took them. It says these were later taken by Darth Vader to further impede possible Jedi training. So he must have had an idea or maybe felt that there were Jedi out there or that there were Force users out there.
And they were willing to buy
Because
it
they
on the
didn't
black
stop.
But Darth Vader is smart enough to know that there's always going to be Jedi out there. you
Right,
know?
because he
It's-
was a kid that they found.
Exactly.
So-
So the likelihood of another kid being found, it's pretty high too. There's just
Yeah, I
There's
want to
gonna
know
be
how this
Jedi.
guy attained it. I'm going to have to look and see how he attained
Yeah.
it because I found that on one of the pages I was looking at, and I'm like, wow. Now I cannot say the island that Luke was on in the Last Jedi. Ancho 2,
Anchovies.
Hancho 2. I don't know what the planet.
I don't know what the
I don't
planet
know
was
what the planet
either.
was called. He had ancient books that were located, and that's really terrible. How much I hate that movie.
Well, it's no surprise you don't.
I don't
know
even
the,
know the planet's
the name of the
name.
planet he
All
was
right.
on.
So the
Stupid
books
island.
were located
Yeah.
in an ancient tree. Not sure where they came from. I'm not sure where they came from.
With
They
the
were,
books?
yeah, the books. Now, we're
the
talking
books.
about holocrons in one movie because it was in the library. And in another movie, this is what is confusing to me.
Yeah.
Why do we have books?
The
and
only paper in all the Star Wars movies.
Right, and where do they come from?
Yeah.
If they're ancient, where did they come from, or what? That's what I didn't like about the movie is that was not explained. Hopefully
I
they
think
can.
I think Luke obtained those books just over his years of just
Possible.
not being around.
Possible.
Because there was a game that it was like the game like Jedi Academy that it's pretty canon, like what the stories are based off of. Luke having a Jedi Academy. I think over his years before he settled and had his academy with his students or whatever, he was just like all around the galaxy just looking for shit to collect. You know
I
what
wonder
mean?
if
remember
Yoda.
that.
You know
I
what
wonder
mean?
if Yoda told him right before he passed away, "Hey, these books are in this tree
Yeah.
on this planet."
Or Luke was probably just
Or Yoda could have had a map to it in his because we don't really know. Once Yoda passes away, how long was Luke Skywalker on that planet on Dagobah,
True.
getting maybe items that he told him to pick up?
yeah.
Maybe he put them in the ancient tree. I mean, it's hard to say what happened from the time Yoda passes away. Then they go to Return of the Jedi. Then past that, what happens?
What happens?
Unless some things are canon, some things are not canon, some things are old, legends. We don't know, and I haven't read that far
Yeah.
into it. as to what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or how these books even came about. I thought that was kind of interesting. But here's something else I found that I thought was really kind of cool. And I'm like, I don't even know when this would really happen. If a Jedi holocron and a Sith holocron were opened together by a light sider and a dark sider, they would fuse and be able to answer any question the user desired. Holocron fusions were incredibly uncommon due to the rarity of a light sider and a dark sider working together. And by the Galactic Civil War, knowledge of the practice was mostly lost. So the only people that I thought, I wonder, there would be like 2 candidates that would be able to do that. And that would be Darth Bane. Oh my gosh.
Which one?
He's Darth Revan.
Oh,
he was,
Revan,
because he's a good guy and a bad guy. He was a good guy and a bad guy. So he could have gotten with a Sith, because he may have been a Jedi at the time, and they fused them together because he would have enough knowledge. He was pretty powerful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the only other ones would be Ventress and Voss.
That's true.
That would be able to open.
They would be able to work together to open them, because she was a dark sider, he was a light sider. Yeah. But they loved each other. That's the only ones that I could think of that could do this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, and if the practice was mostly lost, who in the heck did it in the first place?
Someone had to have done it.
Yeah.
Someone a few times actually too, for it to
in order
practice,
to know that knowledge.
Yeah, for it to be a practice, it has to be done like quite a few times, not just once.
Yeah. So who did it?
Yeah.
I was wondering. I read that. I'm like, okay, so who did that? Yeah. That has to be something from the old Republic.
Yeah, that could date back
plus
years ago.
But it has to be someone who is a known dark sider and a known light sider. And so I thought Revan would be a good candidate for that, because he's the only one that I know in the old Republic. What about your guy?
Galen Merrick.
Yeah.
He would be if he, because he was a dark sider and he became a light sider too, so he would be qualified to do so. But
somebody would have to work with him. Maybe a woman that he was in love with. Was there a woman that he was in love with?
Yeah, that pilot.
But she wasn't a.
But she wasn't force sensitive. She wasn't force sensitive. So
it would have to be someone.
Darth Vader.
Yeah, but they would have to work together, and the two of the holocrons would have to be together in order to do that.
I feel like Darth Vader would only do that, try to get Padme back or something still. In all these years, because you said they have to answer one question.
No, they could answer questions. They would be able to answer any question the user desired.
Oh yeah, it would definitely be like, how do I bring someone back to life? Yeah. He's always wanted to do that.
Right, right.
So that would be his first.
Or how to fix his body and Padme.
Yeah,
to get both.
Well, we know he was kind of fixing his body, because even in Rogue One, you saw him in the back tank. That's so it's obvious he was looking for a healing, because he knew he had to do that for a healing.
Yeah.
True.
And when you see him in Return of the Jedi, he's somewhat better.
Somewhat better.
Somewhat.
At
least he wasn't like Grievous status when he only had his eyes and heart.
Yeah.
But when you see him burning with the Revenge of the Sith, in movie 3, he's pretty burned up.
Yeah. he doesn't even have none of his legs. Both of his legs
and
are
his face
straight.
is all
one hand.
Yeah. So, but I think he would definitely want to know how to get Padme back.
I think so.
How to turn back time, or even how to bring someone back to, because I remember when Palpatine told him, like, I even heard of someone bringing someone back to life. He was immediately like, what? Like, no way. Like, how?
Darth Plagueis?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So he was just like, that's what caught his attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Plagueis did it.
Yeah.
He did it. He did it to his masters, whoever it was. He was working with another apprentice.
Yeah.
So he was able to, he had that guy in the jail, and he killed him and brought him back to life, and killed him and brought him back to life. Yeah. But he did not share that information with Palpatine. With the Palpy. With the Palpy. He did not share that information.
So not even Palpatine knows how to.
He didn't really know how. He just knew that his master
did it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't know how.
Yeah.
And in this book, it's kind of, at the very end, it is explaining, because the book we're talking about is the Book of the Sith. It explains about bringing people back to life. So it's obvious that he was maybe working on it, manipulation of life. So it's possible that he was researching it, but who was he going to do that on?
Yeah.
We don't know if he even experimented and did that sort of thing.
Yeah. Which probably, I think everyone in the Star Wars universe tried something at some point.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
There's always one
with
reason.
all these books and all these secrets and all the, you know what I mean, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, whether you find out you were force sensitive at a young age or even older, like, you probably gave it a shot. Whatever, whether it was life manipulation or anything else.
I think, in X-Men, you see that people are gifted in certain things.
Yeah.
Everybody has a certain gift.
Yeah.
I think even with Star Wars, all of the Jedi, they all have certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that Anakin has the ability to see things before they happen.
Yeah.
True.
He had that ability. Obi-Wan, I think he was more of a level-headed guy, and he could sense things, sense certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Qui-Gon Jinn, except he couldn't see his death coming.
Low blow and uncalled for. GG. Even Nom heard that.
He did not see that coming. But I think every Jedi, every Sith, because even Palpatine has the ability to. He has like some sort of force sensibility to sense certain things.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I think each Jedi probably has a certain thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, almost like with the Palps, and then also
I love calling him that.
like he knew when people were struggling between like light and dark.
Yes.
And not everybody could know that. Like Yoda knew when someone was struggling,
Right.
but not every Jedi or every Sith knew that. But
Right.
like only the special. Maybe because they're older, or they knew when someone was like battling between
the two.
You know what I mean? So,
But he also knew that he had Palpatine. The Palpies knew that Anakin had such a love for Padme that it was his weak spot.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was his weak spot.
That's the kink in the armor.
and also Anakin like made it pretty obvious too.
He did.
Well, I
You
don't
know
know.
what I mean?
Well, he
Let's
made
go
it
there.
obvious to Obi-Wan.
'Cause-
I think Obi-Wan knew it, but I don't know if Palpatine knew it.
I think the reason why I say I think that
Palpatine
Palpatine
knew.
knew. This is the reason why I think just because he was the Chancellor, you know what I mean. So he saw what was going on.
You mean he had his finger on the pulse?
Yeah, he just knew what was going on, and of course we all know how strong he is. So
Did he know that Anakin was sneaking into her apartment, sort of
yeah,
thing?
because
I'm
I'm
pretty
thinking
sure.
I'm thinking like Palpatine was like when he's just chilling in his office, he's probably just like meditating honestly, and like
And it has cameras
and it's-
everywhere.
I don't know about if he has like cameras everywhere, but he's probably just like eyes closed, meditating, like just getting the vibes. You know what I mean?
Around
From what
him,
around
on
him,
his
yeah.
planet.
on
But he
his
had to
planet
be careful.
Yeah, and he was careful though. He knew he waited till like the right moment to make Anakin turn. Like he waited for the right.
perfect
Right, but what I'm
perfect
saying
time.
is he had to be careful as far as to let the Jedi know he was using his abilities.
Yeah,
Because
true,
he had to mask that. But there was that lady, the one I don't remember what her name
talked
is.
about- we talked
her.
about it,
She
though,
had
yeah.
she was able to almost to put up a shield against the Jedi where they could not.
They were just
sense.
oblivious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's something that the Pops did too.
Yeah,
'cause-
he put the
yeah.
armor around him so that
Yeah.
the right people around him. They say surround yourself with the right people. It's obvious he surrounded
Yeah, so
himself with the
right-
people.
yeah.
Yeah, that would cover up.
Because he had a plan. Like,
Oh yeah,
like,
he had a plan for
He
a
was
while.
for a
Yes.
long time. Yeah. So that's why I do give him the credit. The credit to be patient. One, he had that plan for a long time, to be patient and then to execute it perfectly.
I think that was from his teacher too, from
Yeah.
Plagueis that taught him how to do that. That book is really super interesting to read, and you're seeing how he's putting it together because it was their plan originally.
Yeah.
But as you know, the apprentice always takes out the master.
Yeah.
Every single
every
time.
every time.
Yes.
Every
Don't
time.
learn.
Yeah. Every time.
And I mean, it went all the
He's
way down
different.
to, if you stop and think about it, it went all the way down to Vader because Vader threw him into the power generator.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he eventually destroyed his master too.
Mm-hmm.
So they all do it. It's it's their nature.
It's their nature. Yeah. To overtake.
Yeah.
Luke tried to stop that. He was like, I'm gonna reverse this.
Because the Sith is all about power. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's all about tipping the scales and like shifting the balance.
That's
of,
why
you
it
know what I
never
mean?
worked.
It never-
That's why
yeah,
it never worked, because the Jedi always had the upper hand. They had the hope,
exactly.
and they had the level-headedness. They
Yeah.
weren't all, when you
Death, destruction.
exactly. They
Yeah.
they wanted to do the right things, and they had that level-headedness about them. Whereas the Sith, they just reacted on all emotion.
Yeah.
True.
And I mean, I
Yeah, it
think
was
that's
impulse,
why.
for sure.
Yeah, that's why Anakin went in there and killed all those kids. I don't even
Yeah,
know how
that
he
was-
could do that.
Because that's all impulse. That's just like how he's feeling at the moment.
Yeah,
right then and
his
there.
form of desperation to save Padme.
Yeah.
But he didn't realize that he was going to kill her. It was
yeah.
him killing her.
It's your
Yeah.
fault. Well, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm sad. Dead.
I wonder
thought
if
you
that's in the holocron.
might have been.
Maybe that's why he destroyed it.
Yeah, might
Well,
have been.
Maybe that's why they went to books also. It's if the books are ancient, we don't know how old they are. But
Yeah.
that may have been another form of communication, not to put up a red flag, because you turn on a holocron, it's like turning on setting out a flare. Hey man,
The
there's
force of everyone. Comes
yeah,
with
they
one.
Yeah.
pick up on it, because
Yeah.
Anakin would, or even a seventh sister, or someone out there hunting Jedi. They'd
Yeah.
pick up on that, but a book you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. Hopefully it'll be explained, knock on wood, it'll be explained in the next movie.
Doubt it.
I hope you like the next movie.
I hope so too.
I really do hope you like the next movie.
Aaron's like, you've just torn this
both of
other
you
one
guys, 'cause
apart.
You guys
did.
both don't like.
Oh, I hated it. I cannot.
It's-
I'm going to try and watch it again, Aaron.
I saw it on Netflix.
will.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
to
I
watch
it's
it.
on
will. I will give it my good old college try.
It's not that. It has its moments though.
I don't know
Again,
where.
Mary
It's just-
Poppins. Leia.
It has its moments.
Yeah,
That
I'll,
ruined it for me.
I'll see. I'll see.
Give it another shot, Angie.
Oh God! Hey, do you remember? I was gonna say one of the other things that I thought was kind of cool in Rogue One, when she goes out to find, oh my gosh, the man that
I can't breathe.
the man that had Borgali. What was it? What's his? For some reason, I can't remember his name right now.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
He would. They were on the
With
planet.
The suit.
Yes, they had the planet, and we're
the-
bad, man. We're supposed to be all about Star Wars. We can't remember these names.
I
But-
can't pronounce it.
They know what we're talking
But
about.
he had a holocron. She had some sort of holocron that was giving the information on what they needed to look for, because he was telling her, I have helped build this the Death Star.
Yeah.
Right. I have helped build this, and I have put I've put something in there where you can explode, because they have to go
yeah.
down this thing and put it in the
Yeah,
a little teeny hole.
It's the little flaw that's in the Death
Yeah,
Star.
the little flaw that's in the Death Star. But in that, there's a holocron.
Mm-hmm.
Some form of
I don't
holocron.
remember that. I saw that movie twice. Didn't like it either time, so I'd never watched it
Why?
again. I didn't really like Rogue One.
There's people who didn't like Rogue One.
I thought Rogue One was excellent because,
I thought it was cool, but it was unnecessary to tell the story.
See? Yeah.
but it wasn't. Okay, so
It
they built the Death
necessary?
Star. They in movie 2, Clone Wars, and in movie 3, they show you that they've got plans for it.
Yeah.
So in Rogue One, they're showing you how they're building it.
Yeah.
They're showing you how they're putting it together and how they came up with the plans to blow it up. So because before that, Princess Leia has the plans, but how in the Sam Hill did she get them?
True. I don't know.
So that
I left
explains
the theater
it.
like, well, they all died, so.
Well, they all died because they died just like a lot of the Jedi and a lot of Sith or whatever. They died doing what they needed to do.
True.
And they were stuck on the planet. They
Yeah,
were
they were.
there was no choice. They were stuck on the planet. They had already sent down the tractor beam, or not tractor beam, set down they shot at it, and it was going to explode.
Yeah,
Part of the
giant
planet.
nuke it looked like in the corner.
Yes. So there was just no way to get out of it. They were stuck there.
Stardust became Stardust.
Wow, that was really low. You
God.
thought I was low. That was low.
That's what I mean. Like, a long time when it came out, I was like, oh, that's funny.
Oh my gosh, yes. But you know what? She she died doing what she needed to do. And
Yeah.
not that they wanted to die. I don't think either of them wanted to die with because they
No,
were on the
no.
beach.
No.
And
that
they
was
didn't.
kind of sad, that part. I was like, damn.
It's just the situation at hand.
Yes.
The Death Star, you had to die.
Yeah.
Whether you were working on it, trying to save it, or trying to prevent it, something, you just had. It was just too big of a project. It was just too big of a thing.
Yeah.
A threat for you
Right.
not to put your life in danger. You know?
Because they do in, I believe it was in A New Hope, they're shooting at the Death Star and they blow it up. All the people are in it. They all die.
Yeah, they all go. Yeah, they're all gone.
Yeah,
you know?
and then when they have their big battle in Return of the Jedi, remember one of the ships comes right through the window.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's
they all
true.
die.
Yeah.
And the same thing in The Force Awakens. They shoot at the window, and Finn and
We're bad.
I know
We're
it's
really
bad
bad.
tonight. Oh my gosh, what's the matter with me? They shoot at the window and that explodes. So, you do see death. I mean, a lot, even in Clone Wars, you see a lot of the clones. They don't think that they're very important. I've been watching that again. But they end up dying.
Yeah.
And they, their attitude is, well, we're disposable.
We're soldiers.
dispensable,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's not the truth.
Yeah.
The Jedi, spend all that time telling them that they're worth it, and then they turn around and frickin' kill the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's true.
Things happen.
I know, shenanigans happen.
They got a raise
Shit
after
happens.
that. They got a bonus after that.
They got a
Oh my
bonus.
gosh, yeah, they
New
got
management.
they
Yeah.
got new management, but they also ended up dying off, and I think some of them ended up getting killed. They ended up getting rid of them.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
I
they
think they
did.
eventually all died off because I think they had like a 5-year span kind of thing, and they all aged.
Yeah, they all. Yeah, so they just eventually
yeah,
just
they
died
aged
off.
They
really
aged
quickly.
really
They
fast.
quick. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was the only way they were going to make them
Soldiers, really.
soldiers because they were 10 years old technically when they went into battle.
Yeah,
They were only 10 years old
Whoa.
crazy.
in
crazy.
in real age, but they were double. They were 20 years old, but they were technically only 10 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know anything about stormtroopers at all. We should look into that.
Oh no, I
Next
know a
week.
lot because
don't
we
know
could
any-
do clone troopers
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
stormtroopers.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
down.
I would
down.
actually like to know about that because I know nothing of that. I
Oh
didn't
my
know they were
gosh.
young or that young and old.
You're gonna have to watch.
yeah, that young and old. At
You're
the
gonna
same
have
time.
to go back and watch the clone, the Attack of the Clones, because when
Yeah, I-
Obi-Wan Kenobi goes to the
the
planet,
laboratory. Yeah,
he finds out that he finds out how they've been growing these guys.
Yeah, I remember that vaguely, but I never really watched the Clone Wars. I don't know why.
The Clone Wars are really good. There's a lot of information in there. There's a
Yeah.
lot of information, and they do address the growth chip in their heads. I mean,
yeah.
they address the chip that's in their head for the Order 66.
66, yeah.
And 5 of them take them out. So you're gonna have to watch it.
I didn't know that part.
Yes.
crazy.
Who?
Crazy.
What 5 took them out? Like, did they ever become?
Yeah, their
friends?
name. Yeah, one of them is
One of
Rex.
my name is 5, and
Rex. Yeah, and Rex.
Rex is the most popular.
Yes,
He's the most popular one.
and they said, and if you watch Return of the Jedi, in the beginning when they all come out, they go onto the planet, the forest moon.
Oh,
they come running out. You see an older man. They say that's Rex.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about. He kind of has like a grayish beard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
And they
Yeah,
hit me
they
with
say
that
it.
Easter egg, and I
Yes.
Okay, I
was
read
like,
that.
I was like, oh my
I
god.
read that, but at the same time, I didn't know he was a stormtrooper. I just remember like something about this old guy who's a beard and he's abhorrent because of this reason.
Yes.
Yeah. There you
Okay.
go.
Yes, and another Easter egg, Aaron. I was watching, what was it? I've got to go back here. Return of the Jedi.
Uh huh.
No. Empire Strikes Back. When he's fighting with, when Luke is fighting with Darth Vader, and he gets his hand cut off, right?
Yeah.
And then he falls down that thing.
Yeah.
When he's falling down, you see something falling with him.
really?
Something falls with him, and I thought, what?
His hand.
I don't know if it could be his hand holding the lightsaber.
Saber?
Because remember, Maz Kanaz ends up with it.
Yeah.
And she said that's a story for another time. But if you watch that, it looks like something's
Falling with him.
Yes.
I have to check that out.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
And the window in Rogue One, when she goes to talk to, what is his name? Gosh, I cannot remember right now. I'm tired. The window's almost the same as in the Empire Strikes
It's back?
Yes, it's almost the same window that was broken.
That was broken up. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
okay,
kind of
see.
weird.
I have
And
to
then
go back and see.
right,
Yeah.
and where they're fighting, it looks like there's a bunch of lights, kind of on, kind of like a pyramid kind of shape. When you see Rey in Force Awakens, she's coming down. She's like running through a tunnel, and you see almost the same exact
pyramid
light.
shape?
Yes.
Wow.
I thought that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
because I was watching the movies back to back to back, you're picking up on this
On
stuff.
certain
Yeah.
things, yeah.
Right,
I want
right.
to do that one day. Like sit down and watch all of them.
Yeah.
I watched it with my granddaughter. I forced her to watch them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
4
You
months
told
old.
me-
You will
Better
learn.
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
learn
she's
now,
learning
yeah.
right now. I said we're going to read Star Wars books, watch Star Wars movies, and then we're going to dress up like Star Wars
There
I
you
think
people.
you should
go.
make her a little Jedi outfit.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is that I thought it was kind of cool. So if you watch where he's falling down the tube right before he falls out of the bottom of
Yeah.
where Cloud City is, you can see something falling with him.
I
Okay.
remember something falling like out with him when he's
Right,
outside,
right.
but not in the
Yeah,
track.
no. Once he falls, and then he's falling, he's going down that tube, and then he's falling out. You see something fall with it.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I
That
bet you that's his lightsaber.
saber. Yeah.
I bet.
Might be it.
Yeah, and how does it hit Maz in the head or
It's
something?
just doink.
a hand and a saber, and, I'm like,
and that's a story for another day.
yeah, they say two in the
So,
hand is
yeah.
worth a saber in the
Yeah,
bush. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? But I have to check that out though, because I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
we've
marathon.
actually done clone troopers and stormtroopers,
Oh,
but
you have?
we'll do it again for Emma. We'll do it
Okay.
again.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
know
next week,
nothing.
let's do that. Shame on you, and you love clone troopers and stormtroopers.
That's my fiance's thing. I like the Sith.
Like
His
the
whole
Sith.
car is all stormtroopers.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So it will be dedicated. It will be for him, but dedicated to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let you
and then
know,
I
babe.
can tell you about what happened at the game. And then next week, Emma's going to go with me to 2 practices because I have a show on next Saturday night. So I have a practice at my temple, Temple Prime, and then I go. Then they changed their days. It's now
Yeah, I
Wednesdays
saw
in
that on
Pasadena,
Facebook.
and so I'm going to be going back to back to do practices.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be tired like
Yeah,
five times down the hill.
Yeah, yeah, you are. There's
I'll
no
take
doubt
turns
about it.
driving.
There's no doubt about it. I don't know how you do it, Andy.
Oh my gosh, when I go to
But it has to be done.
when I go to anime, it's going to be like that.
Yeah,
I was talking to
yeah,
Bill
yeah.
about it because he's going to stay with his friends down there.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to have to drive up and down and up
yeah.
and down the hill. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
my
man, I'm
gosh.
sorry.
Get an
I'm
Airbnb.
hoping I don't do that for WonderCon. I want to stay down there somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't care if I
wanna-
sleep in
wanna
my
stay down
car.
there on
I'm not going to
WonderCon,
do
too.
it, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't want to drive like that. It's too much. I did that once on Easter, and I believe it was for WonderCon. And I did that again for anime. On 4th of July, took me 3 hours to get home. It was
Nope.
freaking insane. I'm like, I don't want to do that again.
See what you could do. See what else you could do. So you
Man,
have to
sleep
do
in my
that.
car, man.
Yeah,
That's what I'm going to do.
Or pitch in with a whole bunch of other people in Saber Guild or something and get an Airbnb or Airbnb.
Airbnb, yeah, something. I know I'm gonna.
Something.
Well, a lot of my friends live down there.
Oh.
They live in the Orange County area from my temple, and so they all go to their house, which is like 20 minutes
It's
away.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, I'm like 100 miles away.
Yeah,
so
see,
I'm like-
yeah, just ask somebody, please.
yeah, I've stayed with a couple people,
Spare
but
room.
I'd rather stay in a hotel that's close by because I want to be able to, if I have to change costumes and whatever,
Gotcha. Yeah, you have that privacy and you still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel. I understand.
Yeah, I'm gonna look around at the hotel. We still don't know if we have a show yet, but I'm hoping that we do.
That'd be
We do
cool.
the
If you
masquerade
do have
ball.
a show, you definitely need to stay in the hotel.
Yeah, because I did last year because we didn't get home. Well, we didn't get back to the hotel till about midnight, so it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope. Get a hotel.
All right, from all of us here at Radio Geonosis, we're gonna see you next time. And Aaron,
Oh yeah, make sure you guys check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, at Radio Geonosis on Instagram, YouTube, Radio Geonosis. Make sure you guys like and subscribe so we can get that URL. And make sure you guys leave a comment too. And,
Yes.
let everybody know what we got going on.
yeah, someone asked me on Instagram how they can listen to the show, so I told
saw
them
that.
on YouTube. I'm not sure if I put the right information
You did.
because I'm not a techie person.
You did.
But
did.
you can follow us on Facebook at Radio Geonosis 2.0. But please, please, please follow us on YouTube. Like and subscribe. That's
Yeah.
very, very important. We're looking this year to up our amount
Subscribe,
of
yeah.
subscribers. So I really would love that. So from here from all of us here at Radio Geonosis, I'm getting tongue-tied. We'll see you next time.
Later, guys.
Bye.